weather. It governs our world, bringing life, death, and destruction.
God damn it, go back.
We're fine.
Oh my God! It's drowning!
Wow. World's deadliest weather is back. Bigger and badder. This time we include deadly natural disasters.
One of the most terrifying moments of my life.
Featuring earth-shattering quakes.
Yo ahí vi pasar toda mi vida, pero yo pensé que ya no la iba a lograr.
I saw an entire building collapse.
It was like something out of a movie.
And volcanoes.
It looks like all of my wildest dreams.
Using people's extraordinary self-shot footage.
We're gonna die, dude! We gotta get out of here! Mason, get away from the windows now!
And their death-defying stories.
I remember instantly thinking, I just watched her die.
I had to turn on my inner stunt driver and just get out of there quick.
I thought I was gonna burn alive.
We go eyeball to eyeball with Mother Nature.
It's crazy! It's crazy! Come on!
And witness up close
Get on there!
the all-consuming power of the elements.
The mountain was coming to get us.
Flash right there! This place is just hell.
It was just horrific.
I had never in my life experienced anything like that.
Everybody take cover!
Coming up in this episode. 2 devastating earthquakes wreak untold carnage on Mexico.
There's a lot of yelling. People were very hysterical. It's all very scary right now.
A storm chaser gets gobbled up by the world's biggest twister.
I'm here, where are you? Where are you?
4 minutes and 20 seconds, I'm trying to work out how exactly I'm gonna die.
And an adrenaline junkie rides into the teeth of one of Britain's biggest storms.
Eleanor looked like it was going to be as bigger and bad as they come.
Mexico, 7th September 2017. In Tuxtla Gutierrez, the Miss Earth beauty pageant was in full swing, celebrating glamour with going green.
Transmitiendo la semifinal del Miss Earth México 2017.
For contestant Karen Bustos, it quickly became a night she'll never forget.
Nosotros nos encontrábamos en la semifinal de qué es lo que está pasando, de todo. Y de hecho estaban a punto a mencionar las premiaciones cuando precisamente sucedió.
A massive 8.1 magnitude earthquake had just struck off Mexico's Pacific coast, the country's biggest in a century.
De tan fuerte que estaba el temblor, me pegaba en la espalda el vidrio de tanto que se movía. Todo se empieza a mover, se empiezan a caer vasos, se empiezan a caer lámparas. Y llorando, y luego volteabas y veías a chicas pues desmayadas. O sea, es algo impresionante. Diciendo, corran, se va a caer esto.
With the hotel building under severe stress, the beauty queens were ordered to evacuate immediately down 9 flights of stairs.
Nos quitamos los tacones, corrimos con nuestras colas del vestido, cargándolas porque pesaban muchísimo, bajar rápido y que no sucediera nada más. Llegamos y todos estábamos afuera del hotel. Una de las niñas sí se convulsionó de tan impresión, de todo eso. pues fue algo impresionante de ver.
98 people died during that fateful night, with the government declaring a state of emergency. In respect, Miss Earth Mexico canceled their final show and declared Karen the champion.
Pues fue una experiencia muy grande que te deja en shock. La naturaleza, muchas de las personas o de la humanidad piensan que la naturaleza nos pertenece a nosotros y es al contrario.
As Mexico reeled from that catastrophe, just 12 days later, on the 32nd anniversary of the infamous 1985 Mexico City earthquake that killed thousands, the place was once again plunged into terror by a 7.1 magnitude earthquake. Clinging on for dear life, in their 11th floor apartment block was brother and sister Gerardo and Tanya Eichelman.
Estuvimos ahora sí que ahí batallando Tan y yo, gritando, nadie nos escuchaba, no se escuchaba nada, se escuchaban puros golpes, se escuchaba cómo la tierra crujía. A ver, yo también, y yo les decía, es que no manches, nunca me había tocado algo así, y luego se escuchó el concreto como un... como si la pared estuviera estrujándose. Tira un edificio y el sonido del concreto chocando con el concreto y cómo empezar a escuchar. Tania estaba gritando mucho: ángeles de mi guarda, por favor, ángeles de mi guarda, cuídanme, protéjanme. Y al ver que el edificio se empezaba a cuartear, yo ahí vi pasar toda mi vida. O sea, yo pensé que ya no la iba a lograr.
Later, we'll see what happens to Gerardo and Tanya as they're taken right to the brink. We show the utter devastation wreaked on Mexico City by the killer quake.
I just ran out of a gym and I saw an entire building collapse.
And the frantic relief effort attempting to pull scores of people out under tons of rubble.
Los pobres niños estaban apanicados, eran unos gritos desgarradores.
Vete, mi niño, sale. Ya, mi niño, ya no llores, mi niño.
When it comes to deadly natural disasters, earthquakes are right up there as one of the worst culprits. They kill around 8,000 people every year. $185 died in this 2011 earthquake in Christchurch, New Zealand. Measured at 6.3 on the Richter scale, the fault line was shallow and relatively close to the city, resulting in incredibly destructive shaking. A stronger 7.1 earthquake a year earlier was deeper and had no casualties. There are more earthquakes in the northern than southern hemisphere, but the South American country of Chile is particularly prone, as it sits on a junction of 3 tectonic plates.
Sí, tranquila, ven, siéntate, ven para acá. Tranquila.
It's these rubbing together that trigger seismic events.
Va a pasar.
In 2010, a massive 8.8 earthquake moved the city of Concepcion 10 feet to the west. It also fractionally shortened Earth's day by changing the rotation of the planet. Border crossings are stressful enough, But when you throw in a violent 7.8 magnitude earthquake, the only crossing is to the good Lord. The hills in Tibet have really come alive to the sound of earth tearing apart and cascading boulders. But thankfully our man-made objects are made of sterner stuff, so these people have nothing worse than the fright of their lives. Predicting earthquakes is notoriously difficult, but when it comes to being caught unawares, nothing beats this guy in Chile.
Estoy en el baño ahí, pueden ver. Se mueven las cositas. Terremoto. Yo estoy en el baño haciendo una caquita.
Even in his precarious position, he still gives a running commentary.
Algo normal en Chile. Uno viene a cagar y tiembla.
Looking on the bright side, it's one sure way to loosen the bowels.
¿Ya paró?
On the flat plains near El Reno, bang in the middle of Tornado Alley, the biggest twister of all time struck in 2013. And by a twist of fate, Australian storm chaser Daniel Shaw wound up trapped in the middle of it.
I chased storms in America for 3 months every single year, and 31st of May 2013 was just meant to be just another ordinary day. As the day progressed, we knew the conditions were ripe for a major storm. It was ready to explode, and when it did finally go, it went up like a rocket.
The El Reno twister, at 2.6 miles, was the widest tornado ever recorded, the width of Manhattan.
Oh my God!
More dangerous, it came rain-wrapped, the rainfall acting like a shroud, making it incredibly hard to track.
Directly in front of us?
Myself and my colleague Greg Ansell went after the initial storm, but then it started to evolve. It got bigger, it changed dynamics. And the wall clouds, the features that would be tornadic, were in places where it really shouldn't be. And it took a few cycles for the storm to actually develop into one mega storm. The El Reno tornado was like a multi-headed beast. I guess you could say it was dancing in the field. It became multi-vortex almost immediately.
Confirming multi-vortex wedge, extremely dangerous. Tracking path will be towards El Reno.
Not only was this an ugly, multi-headed beast sprouting many funnels, it was unpredictable, willfully changing direction.
I knew the storm was to the south of me. We knew the speed, we knew the direction.
It's tracking south. Oh God.
We had no idea the storm had overtaken us, violently changed direction north, and was sitting waiting for us to drive into it.
I'm here, where are you, where are you? There's lots of wind here, buddy.
And as we're driving into it, we're really driving to our deaths.
The mega twister had laid its evil trap, and poor old Daniel was the unsuspecting bait, about to get the shock of his life.
I think 6 seconds after I realised something's not right, that's when the semi-trailer hit me. That moment of impact was without a doubt one of the most terrifying moments of my life. And in a moment of calmness but almost panic as well, I did make the decision to pull forward just in case it flips. And what happens? It flips. And if I didn't make that split-second decision, I would have been crushed to death. That was the start. What happened next was the most terrifying 4.5 minutes of my life.
Daniel's Jeep and this 40-ton truck were now in the clutches of the twister. Blasting winds of up to 295 miles per hour, it was capable of whisking his Jeep into the air like a speck of dust.
It was like being in a dishwasher. The wind speeds inside this tornado were so great. It was just, it's nothing like I've ever experienced before. So I'm thinking, just wait it out, stay calm, it's gonna go away soon. Well, the fact is it wasn't gonna go away. It was sitting on top of me. It had no intention of leaving where I was. And for 4 minutes and 20 seconds, I'm trying to work out how exactly I'm gonna die. 4 minutes and 20 seconds of working out how you're gonna die is a long time. I guess you could say I'm fortunate in the way that that truck hit me. The fact that it was there, I was able to park my car into its canopy and use it as a buffer. It was my savior. It was my only protection. If it wasn't there, I'm certain that subvortice, when it hit, it would have taken my car and thrown me. This thing lasted a lifetime. I thought it was gone, it came back. I thought it was gone, it came back. Because the tornado reversed back over me a couple of times, it just never stopped. But when it finally started to dissipate, I could breathe a sigh of relief. The most welcoming thing I ever saw was the blue and red light flashing behind me to realise, you know what? I think I've actually made it out.
Incredibly, fate allowed the truck driver and Daniel to escape unharmed.
Go, go, go.
But 4 other storm chasers weren't as lucky, losing their lives to this gargantuan freak of nature. In all, 8 people died. There were 151 casualties and an estimated $40 million of damages.
What made the El Reno tornado so different is the size. It was gigantic. It was a series of tornadoes hidden within themselves. It did things no other tornado has ever done before. And for this to be a record-breaking tornado, the mammoth of all tornadoes, just proves how unpredictable Mother Nature can be. This thing was the devil.
When our mighty Mother Nature vents her fury, us mere mortals react in a variety of ways.
Woo! This is a hurricane, baby! Ha, ha!
This mailman in Pennsylvania isn't going to let a violent storm get in the way of his delivery service.
My car's being pushed! Woo! I gotta deliver mail, son!
As 80 miles per hour winds batter his mail van, it's in danger of flipping over.
Literally, my back end lifted up.
Ha, ha! I gotta deliver the mail!
This is a fine example of defiance in the face of extreme adversity. This woman is watching the tail end of Hurricane Irma tear into a tree in her backyard.
Oh my God, I can't even believe it. This ground is lifting up and down. This giant tree. Holy sh... Holy... That's terrifying, anybody watching.
This is a classic case of overreaction.
I think I'm gonna start crying. Oh my God. Lord have mercy.
Even her child agrees.
It's not even that bad.
While over in Jacksonville, Florida,
Goddamn rain is coming down!
this man's reaction to Irma felling a tree can only be described as extremely excitable.
You can see the tree right behind me just blew out the railing, and then the spark came down like that and hit right in this soft. They just knocked that whole thing off kilter like that.
This guy in Los Angeles is marveling at a heavy rainstorm.
Ooh, it's gonna be coming down for a while now, boy.
It all feels pretty uneventful until...
Oh, look! Oh!
only way you can describe his reaction is stunned.
Oh! Oh!
The power of this twister has literally removed his power of speech.
Oh!
Still to come, one of the world's most active volcanoes blows its top.
My mate was running, and I've started running too.
And an extreme kite surfer takes on a gale force storm.
It's like a battle you have. It's like you're fighting this storm.
Like earthquakes, volcanoes are found on Earth's fault lines, weak spots that allow them to vent their fury. In the Central American country Guatemala, the Motagua Fault has spawned 29 of these fiery monsters. Just the place for adventure traveller, New Zealand's Steve Rice.
If you go to a crazier destination, you meet more interesting and crazier travellers. Everyone's saying, go to Guatemala, go to Guatemala. And I thought, well, maybe I should go check this Guatemala out. And somehow I was looking on videos, and it was a guy standing on this rim of this volcano, and I'm thinking, I'm going to go and do that.
The volcano Steve stumbled across was Santiaguito, famous for its clockwork-like eruptions.
Wow, wow, wow. Wow, 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 wow.
I'm observing the volcano, right? Because I want to go up it. And it erupts every 20 or 30 minutes on cue. Because it's erupting every 20, 30 minutes, it's releasing pressure, and it's predictable. And I'm thinking, it's safe. I mean, I'm not a volcanologist. There's an odd chance you could perish.
In February 2016, Steve turned his dream into a reality, joining a motley crew on an expedition up Santiaguito.
One guy was French, the other guy was a Belgian guy. He didn't have a jumper, so he's put on a sleeping bag and he's just walking around the mountain with his sleeping bag on, you know, because he's trying to keep warm. The trekking is a little bit tricky, and when you're climbing up through these old extinct craters, then these big plants, they're all covered in ash because of all the ash coming off this volcano. Once you get close, there's no plant growth whatsoever. It was just like barren, like a moonscape.
Can you hear anything? No, can't hear nothing. Can't see nothing. Can't hear nothing.
And there's just huge rocks, and these rocks have been thrown out of a volcano somewhere, and they're stacked all around the place, you know, and there's ash on everything. Yeah, there was something scary about that volcano. It was covered in mist. And you can hear rocks creaking like the ground's moving. And we camped there in the evening. It was pretty good. You could hear the mountain rumble.
That evening, a bit like a grumpy giant with indigestion, the volcano spewed forth, giving Steve a taste of its awe-inspiring power.
Wow. I felt it.
I contacted my family and I said, if I die, I said, you know, so-and-so can have my truck. I mean, I did think I could die.
The next morning, as Steve closed in on the crater summit, the signs this was a highly volatile volcano grew ever more alarming.
The whole mountain, there's vents everywhere and there's steam coming out. That's actually the only time I was sort of nervous. You know, the ground can blow up underneath you. When I just walked over the rim, it was kind of spooky. It sounds like a jet airplane. It just makes this whirring sound, but the sound's changing all the time because of the pressure.
As Steve peered into this primordial seething pit,
I'm scared, but I'm excited at the same time.
Santiaguito spontaneously woke up.
Shake the area out, mate.
I just remember it'll happen pretty quickly. The ash cloud, it is actually really high. The ash cloud is really big. I was almost like standing there going, wow. Oh my golly gosh. And I turned around and my mate was running. And I've started running too. Like rocks. Oh. And I sort of got out of there at the right time.
Having had Santiaguito blow up in his face, bizarrely, it's encouraged Steve to return.
That was a special moment for us. We survived. We made it.
And celebrate the crater in his own distinctly weird way.
I'd go back to film it again better. I'd go up with some real cool camera equipment and, you know, make it really dramatic. I could just do cartwheels around the rim while I'm waiting for it to erupt.
We all know a deadly byproduct of volcanoes is lava, superheated molten rock. Somewhere under the rainbow, in Hawaii, one of the most volcanically active places on the planet, this fiery river oozes from a lava tube. Bright orange indicates temperatures at 1,000 degrees Celsius plus, while dark red is a comparatively cool 700. But even this will destroy anything in its path. Although under a vivid rainbow, it's also breathtakingly beautiful. When this superheated molten rock meets cold water, the effect is spectacular. As Hawaii is an island archipelago in the middle of the Pacific, this sight is not uncommon. Depending on viscosity, lava can flow at any speed up to 40 miles per hour. As this lava waterfall strikes the ocean, the water flash boils into clouds of steam. A ready-made ocean hot tub, courtesy of Mother Nature. Sound travels at just over 1,000 feet a second, but it's positively sluggish compared to the speed of light. As proved by this volcano blowing its top in Papua New Guinea. You can see the shock waves rippling through the sky before the sonic boom hits.
Watch out for the shock, it's coming. Holy smoking Toledos.
This man is living proof that lava can fry brain cells at a distance.
We're in the middle of some sort of, I think this is planet Mars. I'm not too sure. But guys, what we're going to be doing today is we are going to be putting this in some molten lava, straight up lava, and we're going to see if it survives, guys.
Yes, you heard right. He's curious to see if his very expensive smartphone will withstand 1,000-degree lava.
Let's go ahead and see what happens, guys.
Well, guys, I can tell you for free, it can't. Sure enough, within seconds, it's toast.
Oh, it's on fire, it's on fire. Yeah, that thing is pretty much done for you guys now.
No kidding.
Oh, okay, look at that battery, though. Dude, this thing's so hot.
January 3rd, 2018. Storm Eleanor was battering Britain, threatening lives and causing widespread destruction. Whilst everyone was running for shelter, in Portsmouth, on England's south coast, Sam Light was preparing to risk all for the ultimate thrill.
I've been kitesurfing now for 14 years, and I've been professional for 10 years. I definitely consider myself a storm chaser because I look out for those storms brewing the Atlantic coming into the UK, and I'll make sure I'm there to ride them as they come in. There had been lots of weather warnings, you know, talks about 80-mile-an-hour winds hitting the coast, massive storm surges and waves. And Eleanor looked like it was going to be as bigger and bad as they comes. And that just gives me butterflies in my stomach, like it gets me excited.
As Sam got ready to set off for Hailing Island, a popular kite surfing spot, conditions were more than living up to their billing. With waves 6 feet high and gusts up to 100 miles per hour.
There's a certain window that would be the best time to ride. Generally in strong winds and storms, you get the biggest waves at high tide, and I want to go out in the biggest winds and the biggest waves. So it's right on the edge of the limit. This was definitely one of the biggest storms I've seen in the UK, about as windy as it gets. Every year people push the limits more and more, and a few people just push the limits too far. But 2 people had to be put in an induced coma for a week because they hit the water so hard that they passed out and were unconscious and had so much water in their lungs that they were literally seconds away from dying. That really brought it home for me.
As Sam reached Hailing Island, the place was deserted. Understandably, no one thought it wise to risk their neck.
There were massive, massive waves coming at the beach. You could barely even walk to the beach, let alone go kite surfing in it. People do look at you like you're crazy. There were really, really strong winds, but gusty winds, so it was kind of pot luck as to whether you'd get the timing right with the wind and the waves. You're at the mercy of the elements. You've got big waves and big winds, especially in storms. It's like a battle you have. It's like you're fighting this storm. When it gets that windy, the wind is so cyclonic, so there's massive variations between the gusts and the lulls. It'll go from 30 knots to 60 knots, which affects the kite hugely, so it can suddenly pull you across the beach, or it can fall out the sky. Massive variances, so you have to be really, really careful.
But gale-force blustery winds weren't the biggest threat. As it was the height of winter, any mishap in freezing 7 degrees Celsius seawater could lead to the deadly cycle of hyperventilation, then hypothermia within minutes.
In Storm Eleanor, the temperature of the water was the most dangerous thing to me, because if something broke and there's so much water moving around that I wouldn't be able to swim back to the beach. So I would actually stay fairly close to the beach the whole time, doing my jumps and stuff, but then that does add another degree of risk, because jumping near the beach is also dangerous because you don't want to land on the beach. It's all about sort of finding that balance.
Staying in this safer zone, though, had one further punishing challenge. It meant tackling the crashing breakers near the shoreline.
The waves were recorded at about 2 meters, and yeah, that's about as big a waves as we get here. There's a lot of different variables that can go wrong, you know, with the waves and the wind, the gust, the controlling the kite. And if you get one of those slightly wrong, then you know, the water turns to concrete. And when you're falling from 20 meters, as soon as, you go unconscious, then you don't have much chance of surviving. I had a few waves and a few gusts that came through that were just right, and I was jumping really, really big. But I had one in particular where I caught the top of the wave and the lip just broke, and it actually sent me much, much higher than usual, and I had to sort of regain control in the air. But I still did have a crash landing. Maybe I don't have enough appreciation for Mother Nature, hence why I was out in those conditions. And I think it's that feeling of like the adrenaline and just conquering the storm gets me out there every time, and I just love it.
When gale force winds meet our wild oceans, things can turn pretty ugly fast. This car ferry on the US-Canada border is plowing through white-flecked giant waves. You definitely don't want to be parked at the front. This woman can only watch on helplessly as her vehicle gets an impromptu car wash. The only problem is this seawater one corrodes and plays havoc with the electrics. When the ocean boils under storm force winds, spare a thought for those poor souls trapped on an oil rig. 60-foot wind-streaked waves are rocking this platform like a cradle. Not that anyone on board is getting any sleep, due to seasickness and pure, naked fear. Staying with riders of the storm, while most people batten down hatches in the face of force 10 winds, this guy gleefully heads out on his windsurfer. But it's worth all the effort, as he practically goes into orbit. The biggest jumps would clear some houses. Although fall wrong from those heights, it could bring tears to your eyes. This kayaker sets out for a paddle on an ominous, stormy-looking day. And sure enough, fork lightning signals a dangerous storm. 3 miles from land, he literally has to paddle for his life. Not only is he battling 70-mile-per-hour winds, but his kayak sensors are flashing up vicious 15 feet a second rip currents. There's a well-known saying about creeks and paddles, and this guy is right up it. But he survives by the skin of his teeth. Earlier, we saw how in 2017, 2 catastrophic earthquakes struck Mexico days apart. Although the second quake was weaker, at 7.1 magnitude, it was far deadlier, as the epicenter was just outside Mexico City, one of the world's largest conurbations. American traveler Henry Edrovo was caught up in the mass panic.
Stepped outside and my first reaction was just to stand still, and I really froze. I didn't know exactly what to do.
I'm in Condesa neighborhood in Mexico City, and I just ran out of a gym and I saw an entire building collapse. It's right here in front of me.
It was surreal. It was like something out of a movie. It was very scary. There was a lot of loud noise, but I can still hear the screaming in the background. It was a terrible sound.
There's a lot of yelling. People were very hysterical. It's all very scary right now. People are pointing out that there's tall buildings and that they're trying to get away from them right now. There's a tall building behind me right now and everyone doesn't want to stand next to it.
After I felt like I was in a secure area, the first thing that just crossed my mind was maybe I should do something, maybe I can help.
I'm gonna try to get into that building that collapsed. Maybe there's something I can do to help.
But when Henry got there, he was met by a far more sinister, life-threatening danger.
They're mentioning there's a gas leak.
The pipes in which all the gas run through are not underground. Many of them are above ground. And so that's why it was much more likely for there to be a gas leak.
There's a lot of really bad smoke coming this way. Everyone's moving away from it.
It was just chaos. Some people were running down the left side of the street, other people were running down the right side. Just panic in the air.
A few blocks away, an even more distressing emergency was emerging. A school had collapsed with pupils and teachers inside, in scenes viewers might find harrowing. Charity worker Roberto Torres was one of the first people to arrive.
Escucho el ruido horrible cuando se derrumba un edificio y aparte veo la nube de humo. De repente escucho una explosión, como que el gas sale a mayor presión y entonces comienzo yo como loco a gritar.
El gas se está escapando, rápido. El gas se está escapando, saca a todos. Se está escapando el gas.
En eso escucho gritar.
Se quedó mucha gente abajo. Se quedó gente abajo. Está gritando. A ver, asómense por ahí porque están gritando por ahí. A ver, gríteles.
Lloridos de niños en el hueco.
¡Ey! ¡Aquí hay niños! ¡Ayuden! ¡Aquí hay niños! Y están gritando.
Tengan cuidado.
¡Ayude a alguien! ¡Que entre alguien chiquito! ¡Que entre y lo saque! ¡Aquí hay niños!
Yo puedo entrar.
Los niños perfectamente los vi amontonados. Imagínense 7, 8 niños llorando horriblemente. Los pobres niños estaban apanicados, eran unos gritos desgarradores.
Vente por ahí, vente por ahí.
Y les decíamos, vengan, caminen. Los inducíamos para que caminaran hacia nosotros, porque ahí había una rendija por donde los teníamos que sacar.
Aquí, mira. Pero por aquí, ¿cuántos hay? Aquí, mi amor, Tranquilo, espérate, mi amor, vente.
Los niños al vernos, pues vieron luz, iban caminando y iban saliendo.
Sácala por allá. Ven, mi amor, vente, mi niño. Sale. Ya, mi niño, ya no llores, mi niño.
Cuando ya veo que sacamos entre 6 niños o 7 niños,
grítale al otro, ya había otro.
Veo que la maestra comienza a entrar pánico de que se habían quedado atorados 2 niños, entonces yo les comienzo.
A ver, me voy a meter,
While Roberto wrestled with how to free the 2 school kids. At their high-rise apartment block, brother and sister Gerardo and Tanya Eichelman were struggling to recover from the fright of their lives.
Al terminar el temblor, yo pensé que la Ciudad de México se había venido abajo. Nos dijo... Yo sabía que podía haber una réplica ahí. Entonces le dije a Tania, vámonos en friega para abajo. Todos los departamentos íbamos bajando y cada piso tenía un daño diferente.
Vámonos, Edgar.
Estaba angustiado, bueno, yo estaba angustiadísimo por la gente. Dije, ¿cuánta gente no perdió la vida en esto? Me sentía yo como un suertudo, con mucha suerte de haber salido bien del edificio. La verdad, fueron emociones que no quiero volver a repetir nunca en mi vida. Fueron muy fuertes y me marcaron.
Meanwhile, at the collapsed school, One of the trapped school kids had been rescued, but the other was pinned down, unable to move.
Al ver que nadie se metía, en mi desesperación me brinco y le digo a un muchacho, ten mi teléfono, le doy mi teléfono, me brinco, me meto por el hueco y bajo, y como a pecho tierra me comienzo a meter. Yo jamás, de los jamases, me había metido a un derrumbe ni a una cueva así. Cuando él siente mi mano, entonces sí, se viene conmigo.
Espérate, mi amor. Espérate.
Through this selfless act, Roberto saved the remaining child and afterwards was hailed for his bravery.
Me dicen uno, oye, eres un héroe y todo. Pues yo ayudé por un instinto. Yo ayudé porque yo creo que cualquier ser humano tiene que ayudar.
Sadly, 19 children and 6 adults died in this primary school tragedy. In all, the catastrophic Mexico City earthquake claimed 363 lives, prompting President Enrique Peña Nieto to call for 3 days of national mourning. It was one of the most heartbreaking chapters in the country's history, and one people like Roberto still struggles with.
Pues se murieron sus niños. Y la verdad es que a mí me mató eso. Cada que voy a la oficina veo a las mamás como hincadas están todavía rezándole a sus pequeños. Todavía me duelen, esos papás todavía me duelen.
In this episode, we've seen Mother Nature's awesome power. Up close and personal. We've seen how helpless we can be. We've seen her tear down, destroy, and laugh in our faces. And next time, there will be more. Because deadly weather stops for no one. The weather. It governs our world, bringing life, death, and destruction.
God damn it, go back. You're fine. Oh my God! He went drowning!
Wow. World's deadliest weather is back. Bigger and badder. This time we include deadly natural disasters.
One of the most terrifying moments of my life.
Featuring earth-shattering quakes.
Yo ahí vi pasar toda mi vida. Pero yo pensé que ya no la iba a lograr.
I saw an entire building collapse.
It was like something out of a movie.
And volcanoes.
It looks like all of my wildest dreams.
Using people's extraordinary self-shot footage.
We're gonna die, dude! We gotta get out of here! Mason, get away from the windows now!
And their death-defying stories.
I remember instantly thinking, I just watched her die.
I had to turn on my inner stunt driver and just get out of there quick.
I thought I was gonna burn alive.
We go eyeball to eyeball with Mother Nature.
Crazy! It's crazy! Come on!
And witness up close
Get on there!
the all-consuming power of the elements.
The mountain was coming to get us.
Fly's right there! This place is just hell.
It was just horrific.
I had never in my life experienced anything like that.
Everybody take cover! Now!
up in this episode. A surprise twister obliterates a small provincial town in Uruguay.
No contaba que el techo se movía, que el vitró se movía, me tiré de...
Y que sea lo que ellos quieran.
One man single-handedly takes on California's biggest ever wildfire to save his neighborhood.
I've always respected Mother Nature. I've never understood its power until I went through this.
And a daring volcanologist becomes the first person to reach the world's largest lava lake.
One breath of that, you're dead.
Am I close enough to the edge?
Uruguay, the tiny South American country, is not considered a hotspot for natural disasters. But on the 15th of April 2016, residents of the city of Dolores spotted a tornado heading straight at them. Many had never seen one before. At the time, radio DJ Freddie Planchon was in the middle of his afternoon radio show.
Ese día, en un día, por ejemplo, en la tarde, hizo mucho calor. Nosotros sentíamos, la gente generalmente, y nosotros también sentíamos como que había mucha presión. Siempre escuché un sonido de viento creciente. Yo siento el golpe constante de chapa, de palos, de cosas que se mueven. Como veía que todo se empezaba a romper, que seguramente no aguantaba, que el techo se movía, que el vitró se movía, me tiré de... Mi primer reacción es cubrirme. Llego debajo de la mesa que me tiro. Siento detrás mío el vitró que se rompe. De decenas de partículas de ladrillo que pegan contra las paredes, las puertas que se mueven fuerte, que se golpean y los vidrios que se destruyen, todos los vidrios alrededor. El tragaluz se rompe, cae sobre la mesa, pega incluso un ladrillo muy grande que queda muy cerca mío. Era realmente sorprendente.
The bewildered Dolores residents were being smashed by an EF3 tornado, the third most powerful rated twister, with wind speeds of up to 200 miles per hour. And this malevolent beast was hitting the bullseye, the town square where Pablo Rodrigo Aristarba was a sitting duck.
Paré ahí en la plaza central y se empezó a sentir tipo un ruido. Y miro para atrás y veía cositas volando. En el primer momento pensé que eran pájaros, no sé, papeles. Y ahí en un ratito, menos de un minuto, siento que se empieza cada vez más rápido el viento, más viento, se empiezan a romper las ramas de los árboles. Empieza todo a pegarle a la camioneta. Ahí fue cuando caí, que era fea la cosa, venía feo. Tipo me tapo y quedo de casualidad con el teléfono filmando, así me tapo la cabeza. Estallaron todos los vidrios ahí, se empezaron a desgajar todos los árboles y se movía para todos lados así. Ese pino grande que tenía miedo, decía no se me caiga arriba. Cayó ahí la punta de la camioneta. Y esos segundos dentro de la camioneta para mí fue como 3 horas, yo que sé, una cosa que no termina nunca, que pedía por favor que termine. después el silencio al final. Nada, y veo todo destrozado. Y era todo un desastre, había árboles, motos tiradas por todos lados, autos dando vuelta, miraba para el lado donde había pasado y se había dejado un surco, vamos a decir, en el medio de la ciudad.
In seconds, the pretty Dolores town centre had turned into one of utter devastation. As the twister bore a deadly path to the outskirts, warehouse worker Luis Bichalba was outside, oblivious of what was about to hit him.
No se lo llevará Amazoni. ¿Sabe qué favor nos devuelve?
Estábamos trabajando normalmente, un día muy pesado, que bromeábamos, ¿viste? Porque no teníamos ni idea de lo que era. No veíamos, estaba atrás de él. En realidad el tornado vino atrás de unos campones y nosotros no lo veíamos.
Later, Lewis's warehouse takes a direct hit from a twister unleashing unimaginable violence and fury.
Y que sea lo que ellos quieran.
And the town of Dolores faces up to its worst ever catastrophe.
Cuando salgo del edificio me encuentro con la imagen de la ciudad en estado de guerra.
Within Mother Nature's well-stocked armory of deadly weather, the scariest is undoubtedly the tornado. And nowhere on Earth has more than the good old US of A. 3 out of every 4 of the world's twisters touch down there. In Rockledge, Florida, with an incoming twister, this woman is tempting fate in her flimsy lean-to. Tornadoes are rated from 0 to 5 on the Fujita scale. And although this is the weakest, EF0, she just dodges a bullet. Unsurprisingly, we stay in US Tornado Central. This time in Madison, Wisconsin, as this guy heads into something truly evil.
Oh my God! There's a tornado by me! So you can see the damage that it just caused.
Luckily for him, the only twist is to his knickers. If he had left home 1 minute earlier, they might need changing right now. You don't have to be in America to have a close encounter in a car. In Archangel, Russia, this couple are quietly minding their business as they head home. Virtually out of thin air, a large twister swipes past them. Judging by the damage to roofs, trees, and power lines, this could be EF3 rated, with winds over 150 miles per hour. Time to beat a hasty retreat. On average, Europe gets hit by 300 tornadoes a year, and in southern Spain, this one is going for maximum effect, picking on a field of plastic greenhouses. Soon the sky is oddly beautiful, filled with twirling streamers. Not that the farmer sees it that way, as his greenhouses and crops go up the funnel.
Tornado!
Finally, we're back to the USA, and this time ground zero, that is Tornado Alley. The vast southern prairies produce hot updrafts that fuel multi-twister attacks. And these storm chasers can't get enough of them. The problem is, when you're in the breeding ground for tornadoes, another one can pop up from nowhere and take you out.
I think I just almost peed my pants.
With hot, dry summers, every year California deals with the constant menace of wildfires. But in 2017, they were off the scale. Over 9,000 burnt over 1.3 million acres of land, an area larger than the entire Grand Canyon. And on December the 4th, the states of Ventura and Santa Barbara fell victim to one blaze that became the largest in California's history. In the small town, Ojai, it caught attorney Trevor Quirk by surprise.
I received a call from my neighbor, who is 93 years old. They said, "Trevor, do you know there's a fire?" I went outside my front door and I could see a glow coming from over the mountain, so I knew that we had a problem. So I put my wife and the kids in the car. I told her I was going to follow her down the mountain, and I never did. The winds were pretty bad, 50, 60 mile an hour winds. You know, we had a lot of dead trees because we had been in a drought. It literally was the perfect storm for a fire. There was fire on all sides of my property. My 93-year-old neighbor is on his tractor in my driveway. I get onto my tractor and we start cutting line. That is where you remove fuel from the earth so that when the fire reaches up to that certain point, it has nothing left to burn. I cut line around my property the rest of that day, all into the night. You have to put on goggles. You have red sparks literally flying by you because the winds are pushing the fire. It works unless you have these crazy wind events where it just blows right over the line, or you have these trees collapsing, reigniting and starting new fires again.
It's spotted down there, Justin, look at it.
You know, fire creates its own energy. This fire was 10 to 14 day event.
Throughout that fortnight, Trevor toiled round the clock to fashion burn breaks. At one point, going 2 days straight with no sleep as he tried to save his neighborhood.
I was super focused. My goal was to save my home, to save my neighbors' homes.
All right, time to do some work.
We had shovels and saws in the back of my truck. We were clearing the road, and you just do things that you don't normally do. We literally saved 3 of our neighbors' homes. If we weren't there, they wouldn't have a home.
Fighting alongside numerous selfless heroes like Trevor was the full force of the emergency services, including over 20 aircraft and 8,000 personnel. As the blaze spread to 13 miles, even they were taken to breaking point. In the end, the Thomas Fire, as it became known, burned for a month. It destroyed over 1,000 houses, claimed 40 lives, and caused an estimated $200 million of damage. But for one-man firefighting machine Trevor, it did at least have a happy ending.
There were times up here on this mountain where I thought I was not going to make it. I thought I was going to burn alive. I told my wife I was going to follow her down the mountain, and I didn't follow her. So there was a moment where I thought I would never see her again. You never know how good something is until it's gone. And to have it back in your arms again it's hard to describe. I've always respected Mother Nature. I've never understood its power until I went through this.
When the camera gets switched on, some people can't help but show off. But Mother Nature has a nasty habit of bringing these poseurs down to earth with a bump. This guy, fixated on capturing his skiing skills, is showing scant regard for safety. The only issue with filming is it cuts both ways. It also records those more humiliating moments when things go tragically wrong. just a few seconds, he goes from hero to big time zero. This Australian hula hoop dancer feels only a magnificent ocean backdrop is worthy of her skills. What could be more natural than performing with the elements? But those elements have little time for boasters, and they deliver a knockout blow. Luckily, all that was damaged was her pride. Beach holiday checklist. Turquoise water? Check. Sun hat? Check. Inflatable pink flamingo? Check. This mum trying to be down with the kids seems like a disaster waiting to happen. After a decidedly uncertain entry,
Get in, man! It's Get in! What's it taking?
it's finally touchdown. Emboldened, she tries a few fancy moves. Before it all goes to pot. Maybe stick to sunbathing from now on, love. In Wisconsin, US, it's approaching winter. Not that it's cooling this stag's ardor. Feeling particularly virile, he spies a pretty-looking doe and pulls his best moves.
Oh dear.
Oh dear, it's ornamental. I bet that's given him the right hump. In Colorado, this frosty Tarzan is foolishly showing off to his mates. But as we all know, pride comes before a fall. All that was bruised was his ego. Still to come.
God, keep us safe.
A group of climbers unexpectedly get snared by a raging canyon flash flood.
I was just hoping that this wasn't going to be our end.
And a daredevil risks his life to be first to the world's most spectacular lava lake.
There's nothing to describe it. It's like looking into the sun.
Earlier, we saw the devastating power of tornadoes as an EF3 ripped a deadly path through the center of Uruguayan town Dolores, leaving total carnage in its wake. As it reached the outskirts, it was lining up a group of warehouse workers, including Luis Bichalba, as its next unsuspecting targets.
Había muchas nubes. Y de repente esas nubes como que se empezaron a juntar de un lado y de otro, nubes oscuras y blancas, y empezamos a filmar.
¿No se lo llevará Amazoni? ¿Sabes qué favor nos devuelve?
Que bromeamos, ¿viste? Porque no teníamos ni idea de lo que era.
Ahí viene yo.
Y nos metimos dentro de la oficina, tipo una garita policial, ¿viste? De fibra de vidrio o plástica. Y empezamos a tener la puerta porque sabíamos que se venía brava. Y ese ruido no te olvidas más. El ruido ese, el zumbido, parece un avión. Eso no te olvidas más. Y se empezó a mover todo, se empezó a romper los vidrios, se empezó a mover mucho la oficina. Y nos tiramos al suelo. No sé si giraba. Estábamos moviéndonos, como que nos sacudía, nos giraba. Estábamos con el capataz en el suelo y nos abrazamos y que sea lo que ellos quieran. Y cuando estábamos en el suelo se voló toda la oficina, se llevó los escritorios de adentro, se llevó los muebles, se llevó todo. Quedamos nosotros dos en el suelo, a nosotros no nos llevó. Y miramos a la derecha, que ahí había 7 galpones, estaban todos en el suelo, no quedaba nada. Todos en el suelo. Y adentro había 13 personas trabajando. Lo primero que pensaba es que estaban muertos. Y empezaron a salir. Empezó a salir un compañero, empezó a salir otro, les empezamos a ayudar. Y hasta que salieron todos. Quedó todo hecho pedazos.
The twister's irresistible power had demolished everything in its path. Earlier, radio DJ Freddie Planchen's studio was destroyed during a broadcast. Now he was wandering around the center of Dolores in a daze.
Cuando salgo del edificio me encuentro con la imagen de la ciudad en estado de guerra. Mucha gente que estaba sorprendida, quietita en su lugar, sin saber lo que le pasaba.
¿Estás bien? ¿Estás bien? Tranquila.
Todo el mundo estuvo como congelado inmediatamente después del tornado. ¿Qué es lo que estaba pasando? ¿Qué es lo que está pasando? ¿Qué nos pasa? Eso era la primera sensación que uno tiene al encontrarse con todo eso. Por la calle viendo todos los edificios destruidos, autos dando vuelta, cables por todas partes, el sonido de las alarmas, árboles caídos. Y mi hijo más chico que me decía, papá, ¿qué le pasó a nuestra ciudad? ¿Qué le pasó a nuestra ciudad?
Tragically, 4 people lost their lives to the Dolores twister. Over 200 were injured and more than 400 buildings destroyed. As the voice of the people, Freddie would go on to be crucial in helping this devastated community get back on its feet.
La radio pasó a ser muy necesaria y fue muy necesaria en la semana siguiente como para la asistencia, para el socorro. La radio fue el principal medio de comunicación que incluso utilizaron las propias autoridades para poder mantener la cohesión social. Y lo que uno aprende es a preocuparse de cosas realmente importantes y a entender que irte es cuestión de un instante.
Zion National Park in the U.S. state of Utah. Zion can mean heavenly kingdom, and for adventurer Eric Hansen, this sandstone desert wilderness more than lives up to that description.
I still consider Zion National Park to be essentially my favorite place on earth. To me, it feels like a holy place. It's sandstone, and it's a very colorful environment, basically rich reds and oranges and yellows. And the unique thing about sandstone as well is that it erodes really unique to any other rock structures. Basically, the canyons erode vertically, and so that's what makes this area, this landscape, particularly unique and particularly attractive for canyoneers.
In 2013, Eric was working as a wilderness guide, specializing in canyoneering. In this extreme sport, climbers descend canyons using ropes to rappel down sheer drop-offs. What sets Zion apart is its narrow ravines called slot canyons. And king of them all is Behunin.
It starts up at about 8,000 feet and you drop in, and then the canyon really starts very quickly and narrows up. You basically have a large series of drops. It's a narrow, long, and beautiful slot canyon.
On August 25th, Eric was climbing down Behunin with friends and his brother, a novice canyoneer, when conditions suddenly took a turn for the worse.
It was the end of August, and August in the Southwest is monsoon season. It's the most dangerous time of year to be canyoneering. The point at which stuff really started going wrong was actually about 8, maybe even 9 hours into our day. So we were basically at the last 5 to 10% of the canyon, and a light rain begins as that happens. Basically, to end Behunin Canyon, you have a 300-foot drop. So I rappelled first, and I see the water is starting to accumulate as it's now raining harder and harder, and then starts to flash flood, while my brother is actually 150 feet in the air.
Holy cow, here it comes.
And it literally blows out of the canyon just right next to him. When my brother comes down, he's visibly shaken up.
Are you all right, Dave? I'm fine.
Eric, my friend, who's the last one of us to come down, the big concern is that before he's on the rope, he could get washed right off that ledge that he'd been stationed at to his death right in front of us.
Come down!
So we were quite ecstatic when we saw him get on the rope and come down, because you can see the water coming down on top of him. This is where everything changes really fast. 1 minute, it seemed like we were gonna get out of there. We were all excited. Eric makes it down. And within just a matter of moments, a wall of water comes down on top of us, and we just have to take cover.
Come under here. I know what's gonna come down.
Is that actually cut off our escape route? So we have to hide under this boulder that's leaning out just a few feet.
Stay under the boulder.
And that's taking the force of this 300-foot waterfall that's coming down on top of us. And at this point, we can hear rocks coming down. We can hear the thud of things hitting.
Get under the boulder.
It just continued to build and grow and get more and more violent. The whole time we were literally about 30 feet from safety, and we just couldn't get there. There was nothing that we could do other than wait it out.
We can't move now. This is the best protection we're gonna have.
One of the things that I distinctly remember about that first wave of water was the smell of the water. It actually smelled like death. And that was because it's carrying with it all of this rotting debris that had been sitting in this canyon. And I was just hoping that this wasn't an ominous sign that this was going to be our end.
God keep us safe. Nothing will hit us. We will not drown. We will not be swept away. We will be perfectly safe in Jesus' name.
And after about 45 minutes or so, I started to notice that my speech was slowing down. I was getting less coordinated. I was having trouble moving. The early stages of hypothermia were setting in.
This is absolutely insane.
We're trying to figure out our plan. We do notice after about an hour, maybe hour 15, that the water starts to let up just a little bit. So we start moving, eventually able to make it across and get it to safety. And then just like that, we're on the other side and had made it out and we're alive. We didn't kind of know what to do.
That weather break was their savior, as a freezing night in Behunin would almost certainly have spelt disaster. It was to prove a massive learning curve for Eric.
I'm glad that I went through that near-death experience. That was a powerful moment for me in my personal growth. It gave me a proper sense of nature, of just its raw power and how quickly it can change. If you get on the wrong side of Mother Nature, you're powerless.
One of the most common extreme weather expressions is it's biblical. Well, in tribute to this, behold, as we give you our best biblical blockbusters. Furnace Creek, Death Valley, California. Officially the hottest place on Earth, with a record 56.7 degrees Celsius. So spare a thought for this lunatic, who's competing in his own private Death Valley Challenge.
3, 2, 1, go.
Today it's a mere 54 degrees, and John Rice is trying to run a sub 7-minute mile.
Oh no.
Oh, we lost his mask. Here we go.
The most obvious danger is heat stroke, and that can kill. Although his friends pose more of a risk.
Oh, don't run over him.
Oh my God, I don't want to.
It's okay. Yeah, we're good. We're good.
There you go, the world's hottest mile. This is Dhaka, the capital of Bangladesh. The reason for this blood flood is rather grisly. For the Eid religious festival, livestock is sacrificed, turning the streets crimson. In Iowa, USA, this character, who looks like he's from an Asterix comic, with braids and helmet, has cocktails rudely interrupted by a whirling twister outside his mobile home.
Dude, look at this thing. That's a camper. That's President's camper.
It spilt their drinks all over the floor, proving the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. This guy in Quebec, Canada, is some kind of prophet, setting up his camera to capture heaven's burning arrows of lightning. As the rain lashes down and skies rumble ominously, he even yells to warn his friend of the peril.
T'as-tu vu ça? C'est malade!
And sure enough, just after he reaches sanctuary, a mighty bolt strikes down with great vengeance and furious anger. A few seconds earlier, he will have met his maker. When it comes to Mother Nature unleashing her full fury, nothing beats an active volcano.
You wouldn't believe how hot that was.
One man with a frankly unhealthy obsession is New Zealander Jeff Mackley.
What is my job? Professional idiot. So I'm in fine stead for climbing the volcanoes. I was hooked ever since I was a small boy. Could ask my teachers at primary school. Paper mache volcano, fire. I was hooked.
Although there are around 1,500 active volcanoes worldwide, Jeff is besotted by one in particular. the Marum lava lake on the South Pacific island of Ambrin.
My need to go to Ambrin basically started with my need to see more lava up close. And I'd heard that there was a lake of molten lava. With that, the quest was on to get to the bottom. You know, people climb Mount Everest. My pinnacle was to be the first person down there. And that took about another 10 years and probably about $1 million out of my own pocket. It was an obsession.
The reason it took so long and cost so much was the volcano's microclimate is particularly hostile.
What do you think of the prospect of another nightmare?
Can I swear?
All that hot gas comes out of the volcano, mixes with warm, humid, unstable air, and all hell breaks loose.
Oh, Phil, it's Jeff here. Things have deteriorated majorly, so we'll need extracting out of here ASAP.
Basically, it's everything up there's trying to kill you and wreck your equipment. I'd say it's probably a little bit like being on another planet.
We've been totally hammered during the night. We're kind of wanting to get the hell out of here.
We're talking about an absolute hardcore perseverance. Perseverance to the bitter end.
After a decade trying to be first to reach Marum's fiery cauldron, that never-say-die attitude finally paid off.
2012 was a year of success, basically, but it was a hard-won success. Terrible, terrible weather. I think we were there for 38 days of torrential rain, people going insane. We finally had a clear day. We'd set the ropes all the way to the bottom. Descent day is a big deal because it's a big cliff, 1,200 feet is a long way. You could put the world's tallest building in there. One mistake and you're dead. The best part about this is on the way down, it's all gravity. It's the unpredictability, the things you can't stop. Your rope might dislodge a rock, and that will be the thing that kills you. There might be an earthquake while you're on the cliff, or a severe storm and a flash flood. A mud flow of hell comes down the cliff. Trying to clear rocks. It's no joke, it's a life and death undertaking. Oh, this is not good. We're about 150 metres above the lava lake, and as you can see, we've come a long way. It's mind-boggling. And there's the goal down there.
After taking Jeff the best part of a day to descend Marum's crater, the prize at the bottom far exceeded expectations. He was so blinded by the spectacle, he shunned his personal safety.
Hurry up, I want to look at it.
Said I'm going to the edge for real, no heat suit, just doing it. Film, don't stop.
5 metres. 2 metres. Oh my God. Oh good Jesus.
The best achievement of my life.
As you can imagine, it's incredible. Am I close enough to the edge?
The heat is phenomenal.
I can't go any closer.
Well, heat is like nothing you'll ever experience.
Don't get the suntan.
But only a few seconds perched above this natural 1,000 degrees Celsius furnace was threatening to cook Jeff alive. Before succumbing to heat and deadly gases, he donned his protective heat suit.
It's technically called a proximity suit. It allows you to get to very close proximity to something hot. What you've got to keep out is the superheated air, sulfur dioxide. If you breathe in one breath of that, you're dead.
What does it look like? It looks like all of my wildest dreams into one moment.
I remember that moment like it was yesterday. The best achievement of my life.
Even with the heat suit on, it's like being in an oven. There's nothing. There's nothing to describe it. Nothing on earth. It's like looking into the sun.
This is the most intense, amazing thing I've ever done. And you realise how totally insignificant you are in the face of such awesome power.
There are some brave or foolhardy souls out there who get their kicks from risking all and laughing in the face of Mother Nature. I call them certifiable loons, others daredevils. Kicking off our madcap mavericks is this bunch in Les Deux Alpes ski resort in France. They're about to compete in the Mountain of Hell race, a wintry downhill blast from 11,000 feet, taking on all obstacles in the Alps armory. While the packed-down pistes offer a smooth run, the cyclists are reaching speeds of up to 65 miles per hour. Then, as they get below the snow line, things really get tasty. Slippery scree is followed by rock, all at breakneck speeds. And if you venture off course, it gets painful. Just when the lactic burn is at its worst, they throw in a couple of jumps. And providing you're still in one piece, the torture mercifully ends around half an hour later. Downhill of a different kind, and equally dangerous is this pair of crazy kids. Shunning the conventional slopes for urban snowboarding. One mistake and hospital beckons. Although it's a handy way to do an express paper delivery. Not to be outdone is this guy on his snowmobile. You need some serious horsepower to navigate these fences. Look, Mom, no hands. And probably not a lot of sense either. Back to the bikes. And on a gusty day in Brazil, this man thought it was a good idea to cross his local river the daring, unconventional way. Not content with his precarious swerving ascent, he pushes his luck with a wheelie. And just for good measure, he does it all over again. Really dangerous, of course. And lucky it wasn't a bridge too far. This man is called Tim Howell. Sensible name, not a sensible fella. He's with his equally unsensible girlfriend for an afternoon ski jaunt.
The rocks are in line. Okay, I'm going. See you down there. Yeah. Boom.
Straight off a 500-foot cliff. It's enough to take your breath away. Luckily, they do have enough sense to pack a parachute.
Yeah!
Almost sickeningly, this man with balls of steel executes the perfect touchdown. And he's good looking as well.
Yeah!
In this episode, we've seen Mother Nature go ballistic. We've seen how helpless we can be.
I think I just almost peed my pants.
We've seen her tear down, destroy, and laugh in our faces. And next time, there will be more, because deadly weather stops for no one.